In the third and the final part of this environmental concepts, ecology, and the issues around that, I'm going to take you through the remaining terms of the 50 basic issues that have been in news as far as environment and ecology and pollution is concerned. And then the next one that I have got in my list is pharmaceutical pollution that we've done in the previous video. That's the last one that we did. Then we take up the next one is debt to climate swap. Debt to climate swap is where we've got IMF and World Bank in 2026 are considering reducing the debt of those developing countries, which have been conducive with respect to their efforts in climate resilience. That's what they would consider. That's a kind of their contribution to the global environment, and that way their load of debt can be reduced to some extent. And then we have got anti-greenwash standard. I suppose greenwashing is, I'm sure you know the word, too much of claim that is made about green related issues or environment related issues. There's also green hushing word that we have got. Uh, in this, what we have got anti-green standards, SEBI and ISSB in International Sustainability Standards Board. They are regulating the unsubstantiated environmental claim. A lot of companies, to attract people, they have been saying that we are doing this for the environment, we're doing this for the environment. They're trying to see that if they're actually doing it or not, or meeting the standards or not. Then we have microplastics. This has become a serious problem, and then ocean, soil, food, and even in human blood, they have reached as far as that under. They're quite often microplastic are those which are under 5 mm that we can imagine, and there is a major issue of that. And then we have got uh, ocean darkening is what we have got as the next reference. Ocean darkening is, there is photic zone that we have got. Like sun rays penetrate up to a particular depth that we call photic, photon, the particle of the light, and then below that will be aphotic zone. So we find that the photic zone is getting shrinking that we have got, and that's largely because of the reason that we have the pollution's been growing, and the kind of clarity of the water is going down, and that is affecting the life of ecosystem of the sea, and that is ocean darkening problem that we have got. Biodiversity is shrinking because a lot of biodiversity could survive only in the direct sunlight penetration. Lots of the food were met because the sun rays were directly penetrating into them. So that is one aspect I like you to keep in mind. Also, the next one we have got is photochemical smog. Chemical reaction between nitrogen oxides and volatile organic compounds for vehicles and industries to produce ground level ozone, and that is actually resulting into photochemical smog as a problem that one can imagine. Then we have ocean dead zone, ODZ. Low oxygen, I mean, that is causing hypoxia, as the word goes, caused by nutrients runoff, leading to algal bloom, and consumes oxygen so much that when they die, less oxygen to support life that we have got. And then we have been identified many spots in the ocean globally, and where we have been referred as ocean dead zone. Dead Sea is that's an extreme example of it, though. Dead Sea is called Dead Sea because there's nothing that can survive because of the so much of high salinity that we have got. No, not even bacteria can survive with so much of salinity in that. Anyway, the next one we have got is endocrine destructive chemicals. That is EDCs. Endocrine destructive chemicals are synthetic chemicals found in the plastics, pesticides, etc., that affect the hormonal system in living organism, affecting reproduction, immunity, etc., and in wildlife as well as in humans. So that is a serious problem one basically has started encountering, and that could be a point of concern. I hope you have got some facts around that. You know about what this issue is all about. Then we have got next is intergovernmental science. Policy panel on chemical waste and pollution that one can imagine. It is established in 2025. It is referred as third uh, pillar along with IPCC, that's about climate, and IPBES, that is Intergovernmental Science Policy Platform on Biodiversity that we have got, and ecosystem services, as one can see, that provide scientific support to orient policy, one can imagine. And this is also called as IPCC for nature, as one can imagine. I think that the next one is cryosphere pollution. Cryosphere pollution is pollution contained in snow sheet and glaciers, permafrost, permanently frozen, global freezer, as they call it. Now, deposit of soot on glacier is reducing their albedo, the reflectivity that we have got, and melting, resulting into a cryosphere pollution that one can imagine. In Hindu Kush Himalaya, some studies were conducted recently, and they have reported that Himalayan river systems are being vulnerable because of this cryospheric pollution, one can imagine. Cryo is for cold. Then we have got the next one is geosystem report, that is Global Environmental Outlook. This by UNEP that we have got. In its seventh report, released in December 2025, they have highlighted about 5 areas where focus is needed to avoid environmental collapse, and that is food system, production, distribution, and consumption. Second is energy system. Third is uh, economic and financial system that is not prioritizing nature. So that's a problem. And material waste system. So that circular economy is to be developed. And protection and restoration of environment that we have got. I like you to look into this geosystem report, and unless you have already done it, because this has been reported a lot in the newspaper, and then they had 11 resolutions, and they very much talked about resolutions that they have got, and the theme was uh, advancing a sustainable solution for resilient planet. So that's what something which was noted there. The next one we have got for you is UN General Assembly 2025, where we had 34 UN decade on combating sand, dust, and storm (SDS) that was taken up, and it is likely to affect 15 of the 17 SDGs. That's as big as that, and so much talked about in this. Then we have Mutirao, that is a word which was appearing in the newspaper, the Brazilian word for collective community effort, Mutirao, Mutirao. You can use this word for your mains answers also. Mutirao, that is outcome of COP30, and that's in Belém, Brazil, November 2025, and has 29 decisions that require Mutirao, that they call it, covering issues of deforestation, ocean pollutions, environmental financing, etc. And then, I think 195 parties adopted it for 2035, and also reinforced Baku, that Azerbaijan, and adapted reforms that we have got, and referred as Baku to um, uh, Baku to Belém roadmap, that is COP29 and COP30, that is $1.3 trillion per year by 2035 investments required for this. Huge amount of money that's being poured. No more talking about billions, now we're talking about trillions here. Now we got the next one is seagrass meadows have been in news. That is only a flowing plant that is 100% submerged in water, and then they're very rich in carbon system. And recently reported that 1 to 2% decline per year. That is the bad news that we have got. And India has 16 species. Mainly in Gulf of Mannar, Park Bay, and Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep region, and then that's where we find that this the status has to be monitored very carefully, and then uh, we have been doing it for quite some time, and India has been given pioneer status in investigating this seagrass meadows, as we say. Now we have one more, that was hydrothermal vent, they call it. This basically cracks in the ocean floor that releases mineral rich water, and life around that depends on the uh, chemosynthesis is the word, chemosynthesis, not photosynthesis of that, and that is hydrothermal vent as the term I like you to know. These are the 50 odd terms that I have listed in three parts for you, and I hope you know most of it. Otherwise, there's enough time for you to catch up and then learn if any one or two of them that you may have missed out. My intention is not to teach you anything fresh because I've not gone into detail, just indicate that you have not missed out anything. And the most important, something which you have read has been revised and then they become very fresh in your mind. I hope it was of use to you, and then hope you have enjoyed. And all the best. See you in next video.